Come on in, you guys. Facebook, come on in, YouTube. Getting ready to start my show called Jimmy Rants over on Instagram. Just getting the last few minute little things set up here. Just got to get my Bluetooth microphone to work. I think I turned my Bluetooth off. I did. So let's turn it back on and we'll get this bad boy going. And then we'll get this show on the road. Running a little bit late this morning. What's up, Hank? So going to get started here. Hello, Norma. Thanks for being here today. Hello, Rebecca. Getting set up for my show called Jimmy Rants, you guys. And so we'll be doing that over on Instagram. Hello, Shirley, over on YouTube. Thank you for always being my faithful one on YouTube. Appreciate you there. Hello, Rhonda. All right, so I got my Bluetooth microphone working. What's up, Nancy? And we're going to get this show on the road here very shortly. All right, so let's go over to Instagram. We got day number 4 of the extended fast that we're doing. You guys are ready? Be sure to share it all over your page and various pages that you think might find this interesting. We're talking about fasting here today. So definitely do that. Thank you guys for being here today on YouTube. And hello, Beth. Here we go over on Instagram. Is extended fasting risking and dangerous? Find out today here on Jimmy Rants. Click on that little button down there in the corner and you'll find out all the details about this story. JimmyRants.com is the website, and as always, you can engage live in the content. You gotta go follow me though. I'm over on Instagram. I am at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, engage live, or I flip the camera around accidentally. I do that whenever I'm trying to pin the post sometimes. I will grab it and then it will just flip the camera around. Sorry about that, guys. You can watch it live here on Instagram, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. You can also watch it simulcast over here on my personal Facebook page. And by the way, a lot of people have been trying to follow me over on my personal Facebook page. They limit me to 5,000 followers. So if you're trying to follow me over there, and I'm not accepting your friend request, it's not that I don't want to accept it, it's just I'm capped at 5,000. So once I'm at 5,000, I lose a few here and there each day, and so as people drop off, I'm adding back on. So if you want to try to follow me on my Facebook page, that's why you might be having trouble. But I'm always here on Instagram, and I'm always here on my YouTube channel, so welcome to all my YouTubers, youtube.com/livinlowcarbman, and you can follow and subscribe there as well. Thank you, Jimmy Rants family, for being here today. If you missed the live here on Instagram, you can watch it on replay on IGTV. It goes up right after we finish the show. I throw it right up onto my Instagram page so you can watch the episode if you can't happen to be here at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. We also put the past episodes up on YouTube on replay. Type in a keyword, Jimmy Rants, you'll find the show. Usually those go up about 1 hour after we're done with the show. Then finally, we have a website, JimmyRants.com, has all the past 500 plus episodes of Jimmy Rants. And if you like what we do here and want to throw a few pennies my way, we do have a Patreon page. Click on that link at JimmyRants.com, and it definitely helps us keep this show going. Okay, you guys, it is now officially day number 4. We've been doing an extended fast this week, trying to go for 7 days. And I vowed this week to offer support to you guys that are trying to do 7 days. So if you're still in it, congratulations, keep going. Definitely cheering you on to great success. I will tell you yesterday that I decided at the 52-hour mark that I had to end my fast. And I talked about it quite a bit yesterday. Some stress in my life came up that just made this unbearable. And if that's you, if you've got stress in your life that's causing more hunger and more problems with doing an extended fast, there's definitely no shame in bowing out when you need to bow out. Let's stop shaming people for, well, you said a week, you didn't make a week. What a failure you are. No. If you attempted to do a fast and you made it like I did to say 52 hours, you celebrate that you fasted for 52 hours. I mean, that's a big deal that you were able to go for that long. I'm gonna probably try again in the month of July. Another extended fast. Perhaps what I will do is invite you guys in again, especially those of you that might have dropped out early. But I want to provide support for those of you that are still in this. If you're in day number 4, congratulations, keep it going. I will tell you, I took my blood sugar because I'm still wearing the Freestyle Libre, the little continuous glucose monitor. So I did take my blood sugar right before coming on here, and this was my reading. So still getting good blood sugar. 73 is wonderful. I am not complaining about that. I will tell you that when I broke my fast, I broke it by having a little bit of cheese, okay? So I ate that about an hour before I actually ate my meal. And so I had a little bit of cheese, and then 1 hour later, I got a rotisserie chicken, and I ate the whole rotisserie chicken. And then what I didn't finish eating, I threw to my chickens. Yes, chickens love to eat chicken. It is one of their favorite foods. I know that's kind of weird, cannibal chicken. But yeah, that's how I broke my fast. And then that's pretty much all I ate yesterday. Then I woke up this morning and I have the chickens in the backyard, so I ate some chicken eggs cooked in butter with some cheese and some salt and some spices. And so I am back nourishing myself again. I do want to see, I'm curious what my ketone levels are doing. So once again, I'm using the BioSense device. MyBioSense.com is the website if you want to get one. And Jimmy coupon code for $20 off plus free shipping. So it has to warm up. You will see that last night, my previous reading right there shows I popped a 10. So a 10 means that I had 1.0 blood ketones. So this is about a 10-to-1 ratio of the breath ketones translated into beta hydroxybutyrate, which is the blood ketones. So anything over 0.5 or on this device 5 is a good thing. So I popped a 10 last night, which means even after I fed myself, I was getting really good blood sugar readings. Norma says she's still going strong, had 82 and 1.1 for her blood sugar and blood ketones this morning, feeling great, headed to day 6. Girl, you are a rock star. I definitely am proud of you. So it does take a little bit to warm up. Today I'm going to talk about the riskiness and dangerousness of going on an extended fast. I have an article from Prevention Magazine that I'm going to read from here. It's a couple of years old, but I think it's good information to kind of counter, because you're going to hear people say, oh my gosh, it's so dangerous to go that long without eating. You can't possibly go on an extended fast. You're going to damage, blah, blah, blah. You know, they have all the excuses. And so we're going to go over this article that makes it seem like it's extreme and risky and dangerous to go on an extended fast, and it's really anything but. So if you're just joining us, it's day number 4 of a fast. I ended my fast at 52 hours, had a lot of stress yesterday from just various things in my life, so I ended it. I listened to my body. I know when to stop, and I stopped. All right, we're going to test my ketones now using the BioSense meter. Here we go. All right, so it's analyzing. This generally takes about 15 to 20 seconds-ish to analyze. Nancy says, with your support, I've been able to make it 89 hours, an all-time best for me. Feeling good, so I'm going to keep going. That is awesome. All right, so predictably, I'm down a little bit in my ketones. It's down to 2, which is 0.2, and I'm not upset by that. Stress plays a huge role, you guys, in how you feel. The fact that I had lower ketones probably is another reason why it was good for me to end my fast. Yeah, I think we just have to be always cognizant that these biomarkers tell the story of what's happening. And so I could sense that the stress was causing some issues for me, which is why I ended my fast. But I cheer all of you on who are still going strong, still want to get to 7 days. Don't give up. I'm going to still be here the rest of the work week, but I'm also going to be here on the weekends. So Saturday and Sunday, if you are still fasting, I'm going to still be providing information for you and reading from articles and sharing tips to help you get through this fast. Friday, we will have an open Q&A session with exclusive fasting questions. And so get your fasting questions ready. And on Friday, I will be answering those in the hour Ask Me Anything segment about fasting on Friday. So that's tomorrow. All right, so let me read from this article from Prevention Magazine. Like I said, this is a couple of years old, but it was really good information that we can counter about the riskiness and the dangerousness of going on an extended fast. Because you're going to hear from people that will tell you, oh my gosh, you're killing yourself, you're starving yourself, why would you do that? That's so unhealthy, blah, 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 blah. Which is another reason, don't ever tell anybody you're fasting. Because if you're fasting, they don't understand what that means. And again, educate yourself. So read this book, is my book with Dr. Jason Fung, called The Complete Guide to Fasting. It's available on Amazon in the paperback like you're seeing here. It's also available on Kindle ebook, and then yours truly read from the audiobook. In there we have various experts that we had chime in, and so we called them the Fasting All-Stars. And so it's Fasting All-Stars, Rob Wolf. So it's like, if you like hearing my voice, you're going to get that with the Complete Guide to Fasting audiobook. Okay, let me read from this article. Is this extreme form of intermittent fasting safe? Proponents of extended fasting say the benefits just can't be beat. Experts say you might be putting your health in danger. Who are these experts? Don't you love it when you're reading an article and they talk about experts say, doctors say, public health officials say, and you always want to go, okay, who? Give me names. Tell me who is saying these things. Now, obviously, in a headline, they're not going to give you that detailed information, and they do name names in the article, but it's just experts. Okay, who made them an expert? What is their qualification for being an expert? Yeah. All right. In January of 2017, Jeffrey Wu and Michael Brandt, who are the co-founders of HVMN, a Silicon Valley startup making supplements, decided they weren't going to eat for an entire week, much in the same way a lot of you guys are doing right now with my 7-day fasting challenge. So they invited their whole team to join them. So for 7 days, those who signed on drank water and had no food at all. So they decided to make a video about it. So in the video, Wu said in a voiceover, fasting will provide you mental clarity, increased productivity, and will extend your lifespan. We talked about a lot of those benefits on yesterday's Jimmy Rants. 2 main benefits of fasting are autophagy, a natural process of recycling old cells and creating new ones, and ketosis, which uses your body's natural fat stores for upgraded energy. That's the 2 big benefits. When you go on an extended fast, you will get a ramping up of the cleaning up of the cells, autophagy. Basically, think about a roto-rooter sucking out vacuum of all these kind of proteins, dead cells just hanging around in the body and have no way to exit. Autophagy does that through extended fasting. And then into a deep state of nutritional ketosis. It's hard not to when you're not feeding your body anything. The body has a natural ability to just go into ketosis and use body fat for fuel. Wu says, I feel phenomenal, who appeared trim and refreshed on camera 2 days after the fast was over. I got a ton of stuff done, waking up at 7 a.m. for morning calls, powering through until 10 or 11 at night, no problem at all. It's an amazing accomplishment of willpower and discipline. So, a lot of you guys are feeling that. In fact, yesterday in an article I was reading, they talked about feeling euphoric, feeling like, and maybe a lot of you are almost feeling like you're floating, like it's almost an out-of-body experience when you get deep into fasting. And usually it's about day 3, 4, you first start feeling that really intently. Day 1 and 2, 1 is okay, but 2 intensely painful and rough. But once you get past that point, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you do kind of feel like you could take on the world. And you feel like you never have to eat again. That's kind of a weird sensation. That when you get to this day here, like day number 4, and you're still fasting and you're still doing well, you almost feel like I never have to eat again. Now, obviously you do, so don't get me wrong, but you have the feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm so satiated. My brain health is on fire. I'm calm. I've got mental acuity. I've got energy. It's pretty fascinating, guys, which is why I'm such a huge fan of doing extended fasting. Not for everybody, but for the people who do want it and do want to get those benefits. it's definitely undeniable what it's doing for your body. Going a full week without food might sound crazy or even like a cult. Why do they have to throw that language in there? How is it cult-ish to want to do something healthy for your body? Now, I get it. We live in a society where food is so abundant that the idea of not eating food at all seems like such an alien concept to people. So I get the mentality that it's weird. I get the mentality that it's outside the norm, but outside the norm does not mean wrong. Outside the norm simply means, okay, the norm doesn't seem to be helping a lot of people. A lot of people are fat and sick. So how about we do the opposite of what's normal? I don't know, go periods of time without eating, and let's see what happens metabolically. Let's see what happens to my weight. Let's see what happens to how I feel and blood markers and all the reasons why so many of us go on extended fasting. This practice, known as extended fasting, has gained popularity amongst the so-called biohackers who also enjoy pushing themselves to the limit using technology to track all the results. Wu even had a sensor implanted in his arm so he can quickly check his glucose. Oh, you mean like that? And that's weird to have a sensor in your arm? Come on, people. Like, if we deny the benefits that having tracking things, and I'm wearing a ring called Oura, O-U-R-A, that tracks my sleep. It tracks my heart rate variability while I'm sleeping, tracks my heart rate while I'm sleeping, body temperature, does a lot of good things. Are we supposed to just have these tools at our disposal and then not use them? I get it. People are stuck in the medical establishment. Yes, it's mental, all right. The medical establishment just said, go to your doctor and they have all the answers. I think most of us who are in biohacking mindset, we don't buy that. We don't buy that the doctors are really digging deep enough to give us the data that we need. So if it means we test our ketones with some fancy schmancy biosense device that's a medical grade ketone analyzer, if it means we put a Freestyle Libre device in our arm to be able to test our blood sugar on a whim for a couple weeks, if it means we use all these tools, all these little devices and health things to be healthy, why would they poo-poo that? Like, you ever stop to wonder about that? Other than doctors are being replaced. I still think doctors have their place in our culture, but it's not near the place that it used to be. Think about television, for example. Remember all the viewers back in the 70s and 80s used to watch MASH and used to watch Cosby Show and all these Love Boat, all these shows. And now the people that were viewing that, the number of people that were viewing then versus now is night and day. Now, about a third of what would have been popular in the 80s is considered really popular today because there's so many other choices that are involved that you could go on demand on Netflix. You could watch YouTube videos. You could go and do so many other things that divide your attention that you don't watch network television anymore. And cable television is out there now. So it dilutes it. And so people don't learn to move on. And the medical system, I think, is a failed system because they have not changed with the times, embraced the technologies that are available that people are actually using. This is why I think functional medicine has a leg up mainstream medicine, because they understand that it's more than just the ways they've always done things. While so-called intermittent fasting has been gaining popularity as a way to lose weight, not just a way to lose weight, but it's a benefit, but it's not the benefit. There are many different kinds of fasting protocols. Some plans simply involve eating dinner early and then skipping breakfast the next day. That's an extended fast, or extending the fasting timetable. Others involve eating normally for 5 days and then eating next to nothing the other 2. So a 5-2 diet of eating normally. I would say eat keto 5 days and then take 2 days of fasting and then keto 5 days. Some people do that. Research suggests, though, at least for certain people, there might be real health benefits to following at least one of these unusual patterns. But extended fasting, loosely defined as a fast that goes over 24 hours, it often means foregoing food for up to a week. Oh, it could mean more than that. I have personally done 3 21-day fasts. I know some people that have fasted the Jesus fast, 40 days and 40 nights. That's hardcore, by the way. The longest I've tried to go fasting is 30 days. It was in January a couple of years ago, and I had stress come in my life where I paused the fast at around day 17, 16, 17, and then restarted it a day later, and then had to pause it again. Again, travel was what was rough for me. Paused on the travel day and then restarted. So I made it the whole month of January except for those 2 days where I paused it. But 30 days in a row was my goal, and I did not do that. I have done 21 days in a row several times. So this kind of extended fasting over 24 hours almost belongs in a whole different category because of how extreme it is. Somebody tell me what is so extreme about not eating for a period of time. I get it. It's not normal, but not normal does not mean extreme. Not normal means you're going against the grain, but it doesn't mean extreme. Like, that's a harsh word to be using. Of course, they've used it with low-carb ketogenic diets for years. Oh, that extreme ketogenic diet where you cut out whole food groups, and yet they don't call the vegan diet an extreme one because they cut out all meat and, double standard. Extreme, I just hate that word, that they think that is somehow insulting to those of you that care about your health and want to try fasting. While many practitioners do hope to lose weight, helping their people with this, practitioners of extended fasting, that's not always the goal. Wu, who was a part of that one from earlier, he weighs 165 pounds. He fasts just to get mental clarity and longevity. Exactly. These reporters, they don't understand when people do a diet, when people do a fasting regimen, it's not always about weight loss. Sometimes you want to get other, health benefits that come from it. Sometimes we want to have the autophagy benefits. Sometimes we want to lower blood sugar and blood pressure and blood insulin levels and inflammation levels and seek longevity. Why are those things less important for us to be focused on than weight loss? I get it. Our culture loves to hang on to every vestige of what the dieting industry is about. 99% of the time, it's about weight loss. But I love that biohackers have pushed the envelope and are saying, wait a minute, you get more than just weight loss benefits from this. I don't do it for the, I do it for the mental clarity, longevity, and all the other benefits that come with this. Social support and camaraderie are the key, says Wu. It's a culture change as much as it is a lifestyle change. So there are those so-called experts out there who want to poo-poo on what you're doing right now. And if you joined us late, we are in the midst of a 7-day extended fasting period. I put out this challenge starting on Monday to let's do a 7-day fast with water and salt. And so there are people who think if you do that, you are putting your health at risk. It's an extreme and a dangerous diet to go on if you try to fast for more than 24 hours. And so let's see what some of those experts have to say. One of them is a dietitian, don't get me started, named Abby Langer. She's a registered dietitian and nutritionist. These individuals who are doing extended fasting are looking to improve their focus and concentration by hacking their bodies to achieve optimal health. They are also people who tend to see eating as a chore and a disruption to the workday. No. I mean, I suppose the Silicon Valley guys, anything that would get them back behind the computer and working again is a good thing, but that's not the major motivation. I mean, don't get me wrong, when you're fasting and you get that extra time that you would normally be cooking food and eating food, you do get a redemption of time, but that's not the primary reason you do it. A lot of us do it because we like how we feel. We like the mental acuity. We like all the good things that come from fasting. So for her to say they tend to see eating as a chore, I don't think I don't think anybody that is an extended fasting fan sees eating as a chore. We just see that there are periods of time in our life where we don't have to eat, and that is a good thing. Abby, you just don't get it, girl. You don't. Many extended fasters seem to be men, but women too are getting on board. Well, yeah. Fasting does not know gender lines. I don't understand this whole idea of, and there was a concept out there many years, women shouldn't fast. Just because one blogger, one woman blogger, happened to have a bad experience trying to fast for more than 24 hours, and she blasted out to all the world, then this notion that women don't fast, women can't fast. I mean, I get it. If it's your time of the month, women don't fast during that time, but pretty much any other time besides that, unless you're pregnant, of course, you should not fast if you're pregnant. You should not fast if you're on your period. But other than that, there's no contraindication for a woman to be fasting. Silicon Valley entrepreneur Sumaya Kazi started doing intermittent fasting in 2015. Within 8 months, she'd lost 50 pounds. She has an IF guide for people who want to find out more. She's never fasted for a full week. The longest she did was 72 hours. She typically fasts for 3 non-consecutive days a week for 36 hours at a time. That's called a 4-3 protocol. We also, in our book, The Complete Guide to Fasting, we call it alternate day fasting. So on Monday, you don't eat Tuesday. You fast on Wednesday, you don't, or you eat on Thursday. So alternate day fasting ends up being around 36 to 40 hours of fasting. So she writes, a 36-hour fast, to those who are unfamiliar, might sound extreme. However, when I explained that of those 36 hours, 16 of them, 2 8-hour sleeping cycles, while you're asleep, it sounds less daunting. And then after they've tried it out for a few fasts, a 36-hour fast can feel like a new normal. And it is. This is why I tell people, when you're doing a 7-day fast, like what a lot of you guys are doing right now in this fasting challenge that I'm leading, you work your way up. Like, you didn't just go from nothing to suddenly trying to do 7 days. Some of you did, but most of you, you've already intermittent fasted, you nailed it. You've already fasted for 24 hours, OMAD, you've nailed it. You've maybe fasted for about 2 to 3 days, you've nailed it. Now you're willing to go for a full week. And I think this incremental effect of fasting is the way to go. I think what kind of freaks people out is they think about how they feel in a fed state, especially sugar burners, that if they eat a meal and then they start getting hungry a few hours later because the carbs are stoking hunger, they can't fathom why you would want to go not just 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, but 7 days without eating. They're thinking of it in the context of eating, which is why keto adaptation is so important, because keto is your gateway into getting into fasting. Fasting just happens spontaneously when you are keto. And once you're fat adapted, and once you see your blood sugar going down, you see your ketones going up, all of those things are positive things in your health. So how hard is extended fasting? There's no denying that extended fasting, and any fasting at all, whether it's a day or a week, certainly has some unpleasant side effects, which we talked about a couple of days ago, what those side effects are. You might feel hungry. It's common to experience headaches, brain fog, irritability, trouble sleeping. Some of those things are electrolytes, by the way. And we talked about making sure you salt up, so get plenty of salt on hand. Make sure you've got some electrolyte drops, like these fasting drops from Keto Chow. Definitely are outstanding in preventing some of those side effects from happening. Trouble sleeping, I did have that. Yesterday, the Oura Ring just really dinged me hard because my sleep was bad, which, by the way, after I ended the fast yesterday at 52 hours and I had the rotisserie chicken, when I went to sleep last night, I took a nap yesterday afternoon for 3 hours and then woke up, was up for 3 hours, and then went back to sleep. I thought, okay, I'm going to have sucky sleep again. I actually slept from about 10 o'clock till almost 7 o'clock this morning. So, or just past 7 o'clock this morning. So I had really, really good sleep. So you can make it up, but it can be difficult in the midst of an extended fast. Even extended fasting advocates admit that going without food for a long stretch can be difficult, at least at first, which is why you hear me talk about if you're struggling this time, don't think it's going to be just as hard the next time. It's kind of like when you learn to ride a bike. You ride a little bit, you fall off, skin your knee, wham, 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 you go home. You try again another time. You get on your bike, you go a little further, you fall off, wham, 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 you go home. The third time, you ride a little farther, a little farther, a little farther, you don't fall off, and you go, okay, now I'm starting to get the hang of it. And then the next time you go out, you're popping wheelies. And you know how to ride well. And you have to go through that process. People give up way too early on a lot of things in their life, and fasting is no different. Don't give up prematurely just because it's a little bit hard the first time you try it. It's hard for all of us the first time we try it. I think when you started keto, how easy was that first day or two or week or two of shifting over from eating a lot of junk food, carbs, over to eating real whole foods? It was pretty hard, right? But you got through it and you stuck with it. And the longer you've done it, the better you've gotten at it. And so become an expert faster. And you can't become an expert faster until you do a lot of fasting, which is why I tell people, if you fast and it hurt and it was tough this time, good. You're learning the lessons that the next time it won't be as bad, and the time after that it won't be as bad. And before you know it, you will be so craving wanting to go on a fast because you realize the benefits that come from it that you'll want to keep doing it. It happens, guys. But as you keep going, it starts to feel good as time goes on. The 72-hour fast was a one-time experiment for Kazi. That she tried she tried at the end of a regular 36-hour fast when she just didn't feel hungry. Soon she felt a sense of euphoria during her 72-hour fast. The following 36 hours after the first 36 hours, she said felt almost zen-like. There were zero wants, cravings, or hunger. It felt amazing, actually. I only decided to break it because I wanted to get back to my routine the following week. She probably could have gone longer than 72 hours. And those of you that are in the midst of this 7 days, you might get to day number 7 and go, Jimmy, I don't feel like stopping yet. Don't stop. If you feel like that you're getting benefit out of it still, and you feel great, and you want to push it a little bit longer, see how you do. There's no danger in going longer than 7 days. There's no danger at all when you are adequately drinking enough water, which, by the way, water, water, water. Everybody get your water. Water, water, water. Dilly, dilly. All right. And then you guys can salt up. I had enough salt yesterday to last me for a very long time. If you watched that yesterday, I put a bunch in my mouth and I was just, or day before yesterday, whenever it was. But you could just listen to your body. When your body's ready to end the fast, it will end. And there's no shame in ending it at whatever point you decide to end it. If you went over 24 hours, celebrate that you did something good. Phil Lieben, the former CEO of Evernote, he's a tech exec, he started fasting for 2 to 8 days at a time right about a year ago, and since then he's lost 85 pounds. He said, the biggest advantages for me are the mental effects. I feel a real mental clarity, increased focus, and almost like a low level of euphoria. After a couple of days of fasting, there's really no sensation of hunger. This is the thing that shocks people. They just think, oh, you get progressively hungrier and hungrier and hungrier and hungrier. And they don't know the metaphysiology of why the body does not get that way. Day 1 of your keto adapted, yes, you're going to be just fine. No hunger because you're used to going probably 16, 18, up to 24 hours without eating. Day 2 is when it gets tricky. And day 2 for me in this fast was really hard. I didn't realize it at the time, but I had stress going on that was really making it a lot harder. And it got so much yesterday in day 3 that I had to end. But you get past that first couple of days and you do feel all of those things. Mental clarity, increased focus, low level euphoria. You just feel good when you're fasting. And you can't replicate what that feels like for people because they can't get past the idea that you're not eating food. And we've been so conditioned that you need to be eating 3 square meals a day, plus snacks, plus breakfast is the most important meal of the day, that they have all these images in their head of what that's supposed to feel like, and they don't realize fasting changes the game. Fasting is not starvation. Fasting is not being forced not to eat. Fasting is merely making the choice to not eat for a period of time for your health, with the caveat that at any moment you could break the fast if you need to, just like I did yesterday at the 52-hour mark. After a couple of days of fasting, there's no sensation of hunger. You guys can probably attest to that. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to have little flutters of waves of hunger come and go in the midst of 7 days. It just means that really consistent, persistent, really harsh feeling of intense hunger that you might have received on day 2 does not happen on day 4, does not happen on day 6. It just doesn't. All right, how risky is extended fasting? Some people believe the payoffs are worth it. Many health experts, though, are skeptical. Again, who are these experts? What qualifies them to know what they're talking about with fasting? You know the expert that I go to when it comes to things about fasting? That man right there, Dr. Jason Fung. He has seen well over 1,000 patients in his clinic in Canada, in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And if there were real risks involved, don't you think over 1,000 patients later, he would have seen a pattern? And as an MD who has the Hippocratic oath of first do no harm, if he felt he was harming people in what he was doing, let's see the dead bodies. Let's see the carnage that was supposed to happen. What is the risk involved? He hasn't seen any, and thus there probably isn't. But let's see what they have to say. First issue of riskiness is the issue of efficacy. Outside of these biohacking circles, many people who try extended fasting are doing it to lose weight quickly for a special occasion like a wedding. Well, if that's your motivation, don't go on a fasting protocol for quick weight loss. Screw you. Like, you're the reason why people have a bad image of extended fasting. That's not the purpose of extended fasting. Yes, you'll lose a few pounds, but let's not pretend like you're going to lose tons of weight and it's a quick way to lose weight loss for that high school reunion or that wedding. Come on, people. We're better than that. Or you might consider it a good way to detox after eating or drinking too much over the holidays, says Tasneem Bahatia, an MD and integrative medicine physician in Atlanta. No. You want to detox after eating or drinking too much over the holidays? How about going keto? That is your detox. Go keto, get keto adapted, be keto adapted for, probably 4 to 6 weeks. And then if you want to start implementing extended fasting after that, yes, you try extended fasting after being on a carb and alcohol binge, you're going to hurt and hurt badly. This is why the experts are so wrong, you guys. While an extended fast might produce some rapid weight loss, the weight typically comes back in no time. It doesn't have to. Here is what Dr. Fung and I talked about in the Complete Guide to Fasting, okay? So let's just say you lose in the midst of a 10-day fast or a 7-day fast, you lose 10 pounds over that 7 days. How much of that weight will you keep off once you start eating again? Most people don't even think about it. They just think, oh, you'll just gain it all back. No, you don't gain it all back. Of a 10-pound weight loss, you will keep somewhere between 2 to 4 pounds of that weight off, okay? So what that means is when you fast again for another 7 days, you might lose 10 pounds again, which the net effect is about 2 to 4 pounds. You see how it can cumulatively add up over time? And if you only lose a cumulative or only lose a net 2 pounds, and you do 1 week of fasting, say once a quarter, so that's 4 times in the year, and you only lose 2 pounds per quarter, that's 8 pounds less. If you lose up to the 4, that's 12, that's 16 pounds. So you lose somewhere between 8 to 16 pounds. Now people are like, okay, well, that's not enough. I want to lose more. Okay, that's just from fasting. Doesn't mean that you can't lose weight from keto. You can't lose weight from stress management. You can't lose weight from getting your circadian rhythm and sleeping well. It's but one of the factors that can help you. And these experts, they don't get that. They just automatically assume, oh, you just get it all back, so it's no sense in doing it. Plus, they pretend like the weight loss is the only benefit that you got from the fasting, and it's clearly not. But we have other health issues to consider ourselves with, says Robin Berzin, a medical doctor at Parsley Health. While fasting can be beneficial, prolonged caloric restriction is taxing on the body. For women in particular, it will disrupt your hormones, increase anxiety, cause brain fog and insomnia, and reduce your fertility. No, 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 no. Dr. Berzin, you're mistaking two different things. Fasting is not calorie restriction. Calorie restriction is eating food, having calories, but under eating below your basal metabolic rate. Is what calorie restriction is. Fasting is a whole nother ball game altogether. Calorie restriction actually slows down your metabolism because your body thinks it's feeding and it's not. Okay? When you are fasting, you actually rev up your metabolism by as much as 12%. This is where people make a major mistake with fasting, and it's the reason why you hear people like me say, don't have bulletproof coffee, don't have bone broth, don't have even a little bit of calories, because when you give your body a little bit of calories, it's revving up, it's revving up, it's revving up, thinking you're having a feasting day, and then when you don't feed it enough calories, it goes, okay, dude, hello, we need more food, and then you don't do it, you slow down your metabolism. And yet, if you don't eat any food at all, the body's like, all right, dummy up there is going to let us chill for a while. We're going to sit back on this island, soak in the rays, and not have to work so hard. You see the difference? It's a very clear difference. And yet this medical doctor is showing she has no idea the difference between a total water and salt fast and calorie restriction. So none of those negative things she talks about women having actually happen when you are fasting. This is why I say water, salt, that is the best way to fast. Otherwise, you do fool your body into thinking that you're having food. She also says she's willing to monitor certain patients who are experimenting with fasting as long as they're not pregnant, nursing, or trying to conceive. Agree with all those, although the trying to conceive, if you put your body into a fasted state and you decide to have fun and try to have a baby, I think you actually lower insulin enough. You could probably turn on some really good things that would maybe make it better and easier and more possible for you to conceive. Think PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is a form of insulin resistance. When you get in a ketogenic state, either by ketosis nutritionally or by fasting, it actually can help push that down, which would make you more fertile. She also cautions those who have thyroid problems, adrenal fatigue, or insulin-dependent diabetes, which is type 1, to steer clear. However, she draws a former line, Bahatia does. I don't recommend long fast to any patients, as these fasts may be too hard on the adrenals and thyroid. If you have a pre-existing thyroid issue, perhaps. But if you don't already have adrenal fatigue, you don't already have thyroid problems, whether they're autoimmune like Hashimoto's or just a low thyroid function, you should not have any problem with that. Will you lower the thyroid numbers by going on an extended fast? You bet you will. Well, think about it. Thyroid doesn't have to work. It's just like the reason the blood sugar goes down. It's the same reason your insulin goes down. Your body doesn't have to work as hard. So that's a very good thing. Langer, meanwhile, is concerned that going on an extended fast could trigger mental and physical health problems. Listen to this, you guys. Extended fasting seems very much like disordered eating to me. In my opinion, it's not healthy in any way to restrict food for a week. No. I think those of you that have been joining me on this 7-day fasting challenge this week, were you forced to go on this extended fast? What happened? You decided, okay, I've heard enough of the benefits. I've read books like The Complete Guide to Fasting. I've educated myself. I'm ready to give it a go. So I'm making the choice that this is something I want to do. And it's something I want to get the benefits from. And through that choice, you make the desirous effort to give it a go. And if at any point you want to end it, you end it, just like Jimmy Moore did yesterday at 52 hours. There was no shame. I'm very pleased and very proud of myself for going 52 hours. And I'm going to go again here very soon. And I don't think we need to be telling people they have an eating disorder simply because they're choosing not to eat. An eating disorder and eating disorders, mind you, are very serious. Binge eating, anorexia, bulimia. I know people that have done all three. And those are indeed issues that are serious. But you choosing to go on a fast is none of the sort. And a medical doctor should be ashamed of themselves for saying that. Proponents like Wu are unlikely to be dissuaded from this, though he acknowledges that it's important to work with a doctor, especially if you're fasting for longer than 3 days. I agree if you have a condition such as type 2 diabetes or some other condition where you might need to monitor medications and other kind of vital markers, work with a doctor. But let's not pretend like if you're generally healthy and you don't have these health issues that you're going to somehow harm yourself if you don't see a doctor. Now I get it, it's a good CYA. Oh yeah, see your doctor if you're gonna do this. Most doctors aren't gonna support this, so what doctor are you going to see unless you go see Dr. Fung? Now, there's some nutrition-minded doctors who understand fasting who could help you, but they're few and far between. At a certain point, nutritional deficiencies can happen, says Wu, but he has no regrets about the 7-day fast he did at the beginning of 2017. He plans to do another one in 2018. This whole nutritional deficiencies, people often ask, do you take vitamins when you're fasting? And my answer is no, I do not. You're not fasting for a long period. Now, some people say, oh my gosh, this is a long period. In the grand scheme of things, no, it is not. And so if you go a period of time without taking your vitamins, if you choose to take your vitamins, that's great. I know for me, taking vitamins on an empty stomach, I get bad kind of reflux kind of things that happen and start to feel woozy. I just don't do it anymore. It's a short period of time. Think about it that when you go in for a surgery, are you going to go run a marathon after you get out of surgery? No, you're letting your body heal. Well, think about fasting in the same way. You're giving this 7-day period a chance for your body to heal, so you don't need to necessarily be doing other things. Then when you start eating food again, eat nutrient-dense foods, take your vitamins again if you like vitamins, and do it that way. 7 days is not going to break your body. Extended fasting has changed Wu's outlook on food and eating. I realize how resilient the body is, how easy it is to avoid low-quality junk food. I can just not eat at all. If I didn't eat for 7 days and I'm fine, then I know I can handle skipping a crappy meal. One of the things, those of you that are doing this probably for the first time, this 7-day fasting challenge, one of the things you're gonna find very interesting when you start eating again is your desire to eat's not gonna be there. And you're thinking, what in the world? Why would I not want to eat, Jimmy? It seems to me that if I haven't eaten for 7 days, all I will want to do is eat. Watch. What's gonna happen is day 8, after you've broken your fast and you wake up the next day, you kind of go, not really hungry. And you go kind of midday, I'm not hungry, but I feel like I should be eating. Maybe you wait till like 3 or 4 o'clock and you have a meal. And you kind of go, okay, that's good for the day. And then you wake up the next day and you go, why am I not hungry? You're learning that maybe a lot of your eating patterns were based on habit and not actual hunger. This is the magic of going on an extended fast. You find out what hunger really is. You find out that all these feeding cycles that you thought you needed actually were based on a whole lot of nothing, and that physiologically your desire for food is a whole lot less than you thought. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. We're going to come over here to my Instagram channel first, Facebook, finally to my YouTubers. So thank you all for being here today on Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. See what you guys have to say. Kat says 4th day, so I guess I'm here for a whole 7 days. Yeah, you make it 4 days. Those of you who are here at day 4, you're going to make it to 7. Because if you made it to day 4 without having any hiccups, you're going to make it to day 7. So Kat says, thanks for your support. Well, thank you. And Kat, you are a pro at fasting, so thank you for your presence here and helping to encourage the fellow Jimmy Rants fans. Linda says, I listen to the audio while I read the paperback. Oh, check to see if I made sure I read every single word correctly. But that's interesting, Linda. You're not the first person that said they listened to me reading the book while they're looking at the words on the book. I guess that helps you retain it better. Jillian says, I am on my monthly during this fast. It's tougher than the last time, but I feel great. Not as bad of cramps. Well, that's interesting, Jillian. You're the first girl I know who's gone on a during her period. Usually the cravings are pretty rough, and so kudos to you. I'm glad that the cramps aren't as bad. I'm going to surmise that it's the lowering of the insulin and the regulation of some other hormones in your body and the lowering of insulin. Did I say lowering of insulin? Maybe it's the increase in the ketones that might be squelching down a lot of that pain. But good job, Jillian. That's amazing. All right. Thank you, Instagram. Let me pop over to my Facebook page over here. Come on in, you guys. What's up, guys? See what you have to say about this dangerousness of being on a fast. Feeling great here, except very, very cold. Any explanation for this, Rhonda says. So I have another article I'm going to probably do over the weekend that talks about why people get cold. I haven't actually looked at that article, but I did print it out. My experience with this one is that coldness, Rhonda, has more to do with the lowering of the thyroid. And that maybe you had a little bit of lower thyroid function before you started this. And so it's not anything to be alarmed about. I think for people like you, make sure you're getting ample liquids in. Maybe warm up the liquids so that it goes in your body and it warms you up. And also make sure you are adequately getting in electrolytes, because when those are dumped, the sodium, the potassium, the magnesium, the balance between those can help regulate temperature in the body as well. But it's not uncommon, especially people too who are losing weight in the midst of fasting. Sometimes that cold sensation comes on, but definitely I did see that it's in this article I'm going to address on Saturday. So stay tuned to Jimmy Rants. Tracy said I had to go 9 weeks without eating after surgery once, and I was fine. Isn't that funny, Tracy, that medical doctors poo-poo on 7 days of fasting, but when it comes to a medical thing like post-surgery, especially if it's something involved in the digestive system, the mouth or whatever, the esophagus, yeah, they don't have any problems with you eating. And think about people who have like gastric bypass surgery, where they cut their stomach out and that has to heal, and they have to have soft foods and liquid foods for a bit. Nobody bats an eye at that. So I don't get the histrionics about people choosing not to eat for a period of time. Rebecca wants to know how I got my CGM, continuous glucose monitor. There it is. The Freestyle Libre. Is it true you have to be diagnosed as type 2 and have a doc prescribe? So I got it from a doctor friend. Obviously, because of what I do for a living, I have a whole lot of medical doctor friends who can prescribe me one. Is it true you have to be diagnosed as type 2? I am not a type 2 diabetic, so no, it is not true. It's so funny, I showed that yesterday or the day before on Jimmy Rants, and somebody said, oh, I didn't know you had type 2 diabetes. And I'm like, don't assume because someone's wearing a continuous glucose monitor that they have diabetes. They do not. Maybe in the past, that would be an indicator that they have diabetes, but no, not now. Now, if you are a perfectly healthy person and you just want to monitor how your blood sugar is doing, wear a CGM. All right, so do you have to have a doctor prescribe it? Yes, unfortunately. There are companies out there that have doctors on board that will approve you to have it. I know there's several people on Instagram. Carb Addiction Doc, Dr. Robert Sywis, I know has put out the call that if you want one, reach out to him. He'll try to get you one. Yeah, there's a bunch of medical doctors out there who could get you one. I thankfully have one from here up in Asheville that I can contact, and he prescribed me 6 of them last year. So I've got a whole bunch of them on hand for me which is the one I'm using here this week. And hopefully we get to the point where those aren't as hard to get and can be available without a prescription. I mean, think about a glucometer. You can go buy one at Walgreens, Walmart right now at your local store. Why is it not the same for a CGM? It's just a glucose monitor you stick in your arm. So I don't know why you have to have a prescription, but that's the game you have to play right now. Norma said, when I did my 2-day fast, when I did my 21, if it hadn't been for some other problems, I could have gone on further. I was not hungry, had to work up to eating what I usually did. Yeah, after you're done with a fast, even 7 days, you're gonna find you won't eat near as much. In fact, that first meal after you break your fast, that first meal is gonna be about half the volume of food that you're used to eating. It's pretty amazing. The only thing I'm taking is my natural thyroid prescription, says Rhonda. So yeah, was that Armor Thyroid you're taking? So that definitely can be challenging. Hang in there with the coldness. You're not alone. And like I said, there is some information in there in this article I'm going to read on Saturday all about that. Rebecca says, I'm seeing Dr. Cywis on Monday. Yeah, tell him Jimmy Moore said hi, by the way. He's a great friend of mine. It's funny, I met him in all places, of all places, South Africa. I was one of the speakers at the big LCHF conference that Professor Noakes put on back in 2015. And I'd never heard of him before. And I remember it was right before he was supposed to get up. They asked me to introduce him. I didn't know who he was. I'm like, so next up we have somebody I don't know who he is. And we're going to all find out who he is here in a second. Welcome, Dr. Robert Cywis. I was so embarrassed, and I was extremely tired because I was jet lagged. I literally came in at midnight before this conference started, and then woke up the next morning and had to be at this conference, and I was just so disoriented at what time it was. And then as soon as I introduced Dr. Cywis, I went back to the hotel room and slept for a few hours. I went up to him later. I was like, dude, I am so sorry. He's like, no, nobody knew who I was. It was a perfect intro. All right, thank you, Facebook. Let's go over to YouTube, see what you guys have to say. Hitting 96 hours says, surely I haven't told anyone except my mom who supports it. My husband and kids have no clue. I normally eat once a day while he's at work anyway. Good. My sister thinks extended fasting is an eating disorder. Yeah, a lot of people do. She did that when she was 16 or 17 to lose weight. Maybe it was in her case, but not the same. Yeah, she was out of control. You are in complete control. Oh, I used to try to cook for the family in the crock pot to distance myself from the food, but the smell was really messing with me hardcore. Bad choice. Yeah, when you use a crock pot, the smell goes all over the house. So yeah, that not so good an idea, but nice try, Shirley. But congratulations on doing your fasting on the down low. That's pretty good. All right, thank you, YouTube. Let's pop back over to Instagram before we end this show here today. I wish I could be cold, says Kat. The Florida heat is in full force. Talk about desirable side effect. Yeah, I don't think you want the coldness though, just for what it represents. But I hear you. I know what you're talking about. Is it possible there are not so many and all of us could create a shortage of CGMs? I don't know. I'm assuming they could ramp up production. I'm assuming they have ramped up production. I know more than just the Abbott company making Freestyle Libres out there. There's all kinds of different ones that I've seen lately. I was contacted by one about helping them promote it, and so I told them to send me one, and I haven't gotten it yet. But when I can find how you can get one without a doctor, I will certainly bring that to you guys here on Jimmy Rants. But I can't imagine, Kat, that if demand got high enough that they could make enough of them. It's just a piece of plastic with a needle in it. I don't understand how that could run short. I think it should be widely available. It's very important data. Yeah, I think if you guys aren't familiar with a CGM, so the continuous glucose monitor, so this one's called the Libre. It is by prescription from your doctor right now, but I have a feeling in the coming years they're going to be no longer needed prescription to get one, and they're going to become a whole lot more available. So fingers crossed. We're going to definitely be pushing it here today and for a very long time on Jimmy Rants. We got to get it out there because it does give invaluable data. Temple says, I literally have one on right now. Temple, we are sister and brother, wearing it. So, and like I said, right before I came on the air, I did a quick, and I was a 73. So pretty darn good. All right, guys, that's it for this episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. And as always, you can engage live in the content. Go follow me over here on Instagram. I'm at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, engage live and enjoy the content, you guys. We also simulcast over on Facebook as well as YouTube. Thank you all for being here today on Jimmy Rants. If you missed the live on Instagram, we do throw them up on IGTV as soon as the show is over. So go to my Instagram page and you can past episodes of Jimmy Rants here on IGTV. We also put them up over on YouTube. So type in a keyword Jimmy Rants and you will find the show there. Finally, you can watch all the past episodes, 500 plus episodes over at JimmyRants.com. Where we house all of those episodes. Also, if you like what we do here and you want to support the work, I don't do any advertising on here. I don't do any, promoting of products per se, unless it's something like the NutriSense that adds value. We have a Patreon page, so go support the Patreon. Click on that. Certainly will help us keep this show on the air. So, guys, until next time, we'll see you then. And that's a wrap. Download video, save, set it to the side. All right. Rhonda says, no, the NP thyroid. Okay, that's cool. Good to know. I know Armor is another one of those, but, and what's that, Natrithroid? There's all kind of little natural thyroid medications, which is basically pig thyroid is what it is, so. All right, guys, so I need to go now. But I will be back. I think I'm going to come back a little bit later on today because I want to talk about communication as it relates to this race relations stuff we're going through. I feel like there is a huge disconnect between the way that the message is being conveyed on both sides. White people not understanding what they're doing to cause harm to black people by their language, and then vice versa. Black people not understanding that white people have good intentions with the things they're saying, but they don't understand why each other aren't understanding. So I want to talk about how adequately communicating clearly and having understanding that people are coming at this from a good heart is going to be helpful. So I want to do a Jimmy Rants about that a little bit later on, and it is definitely my jam. You guys know that watch me regularly, I have a heart, and I have a heart for good, and I don't have an ill intention about anything that I do. And yet there's a perception sometimes when you say things that people take the wrong way, that you have ill intentions. And so that took me aback yesterday pretty hard. That's why I had to end the fast, by the way. I was getting inundated with some pretty negative stuff that I just did not understand until I dug a little deeper and realized, okay, I'm speaking one language and the other side speaking another language, and we're not talking the same language, even though we're saying the same words. Same words, different meaning. And I didn't know that until after I did some research. So we will hit that a little bit later on today on Jimmy Rants. So thanks so much for being here, you guys. We'll be back again real soon. Bye.